Hello everyone. Welcome back to FPL Jedi Show. This is Gameweek 14 pod. My name is Hafiz and I would like to welcome Azmin to the stream. How's your feeling coming to this week, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Some risks that I took didn't turn out great, but fortunately, because the low scoring of teams as a whole meant that I didn't suffer too much despite those risks. So I'm sitting okay, even though it was a red arrow, but it wasn't a big red arrow. It was a manageable one. And when you look back and look at the fixtures, a lot of hard fixtures. There weren't any real easy pointer fixtures to target for last week. So yeah, I'm okay.
All right, good to hear that, man. First of all, would like to mention to everyone, maybe some of them actually waiting for our stream last week, man. So we would like to apologize last week because actually I'm down with fever, okay, last week. So we didn't manage to get any stream out last week. But we are here today to discuss about Game Week 14 and moving forward. The topic for this week, for sure, man, we can see here the title is about we are going to talk about fixture congestion coming into this December period, man. So I think that's one thing that we can discuss in details because later we'll take a look at the visual from Lego Money,
Yep.
looking at
Yeah.
from game week 13 or even 14 right now until the game week 20, which is the last game week of 2023 season year. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, this is where you really want to get set in and really prepare for this whole stretch of December's a lot of matches coming. And you really need to plan properly. Make sure you have a decent bench because inevitably even the good players will get benched, or at least if they don't get benched, they will have shortened minutes because they need to manage. And bearing in mind that this season we're under the new rules, last 10 matches can go on 12 minutes extra depending on how long a person's injured, all the time wasting, which means that there's even less time for each team to recover. So be on your mind, plan carefully, and make the most of your transfers.
All right, man. We will touch all of it later. Take a look at the talking points for game week 14. We shall run through our team, how we perform in game week 30 for sure. Take a look a bit of FPL stats in game week 30 where we can have a look at which team that we should target, especially in this fixture congestion. Number 3 for sure, we'll take a look the outlook from game week 40 and 20. We touch a lot of it, man. Later, talking about teams in Europe competition, Carabao Cup competition, and we're going to touch about the blank game in 18 later. The midfield template that are evolving right now for sure, I mean, because we have to, in terms of our team, we have to balance between our budget, the midfielder who are going to be, I think the most expensive one right now until which to accommodate all the balance in our team. We take a look on that later, and also game week 14 fixture. All right, there's some tasty fixture also inside there. The captain pick, and also our transfer plan for game week 14. So we jump first to game week 13 result. I go through my team first. I scored 48 points. The average points last week was 46. So you can see really, I mean, the scoring is quite low, but it's not as low as is it game week 12? If I may recall, around 30 plus, of which
Yeah.
that all
I blanked that week out of my head, so yeah.
yeah.
It's just a
And on this 48 point, I did actually have a slight drop in my rank from 593,000 to 599, so around 6,000 please, but still okay, right? It is still an red arrow. So take a look at my team. I have Arola in goal, 3 points there. Other than that, I think a bit disappointing in terms of my backline. Gabriel kept a long-waited 6 points, can I say, because I've been having Gabriel from since game week 1, endure all the pain of benching and so on. Last, I managed to get his 6 points. But Asen is the one that people are talking about in terms of defense, all right? Cash disappointing because I thought against Spurs maybe Villa could actually produce some attacking returns and Cash could actually bomb on the right hand side, but it is not turned out to be. 0 points, one yellow card, so wipe out my one appearance point, and then sub out at halftime. So there is no additional point from Cash. Zero, big fat zero. And then Brentford, another player that I was thinking. We mentioned, maybe we did not mention about Everton 10 points deduction during the international break. But I thought Everton going to be pumped up in terms of Everton match against Manchester United, who are actually not at the right form. But it is not turned out to be. A wonder goal by Garnacho, 3-0 there, and Everton lost 3-0 at home, and Brentford only get 1 pointer. So that's the story of Everton. In midfield, Salah 5 points only. Palmer did not return. It is a big loss for Chelsea, 4-1, and Palmer did not do anything, only 2 points. Son also has a hat trick of offside goals, so he managed only got 2 points. So disappointing for Son owner. But Saka at least returned an assist and 2 bonus point last week. So at least that's the Arsenal player in midfield that you can trust in terms of delivering points, because the likes of Martinelli, maybe to an extent Trossard, but you are not going to go there, right? In terms of minutes. Other than that, I have Haaland as my captain, 7 points. Watkins delivered the goal against Spurs, but he's been yellow carded. You can see on my bench, Bowen, who actually I have Bowen in my team, but since it did not turn out in game week 13, then Archer come in, but only produced 2 points. Even though on paper, so-called Sheffield United versus Bournemouth, we thought that Archer can actually deliver something in that game, but really disappoint, only 2 points. That's the transfer that I made, bring in Archer as a backup, my first sub, but it turns out nothing, only 2 points. But the hero actually sells me. So 4 million defender who have been contemplating which Newcastle or 4.0 defender that I want to bring him. That 7 points, have a thought he's going to score against Chelsea. Got a yellow card, but still decent 7 points, but he'll be there, and he could actually be reminded to myself moving forward. He could be actually a better option than Brentford, maybe. We shall see. So that's my team for game week 30, man.
Yeah, so as you can see, we have Son who blanked, then Palmer first time blank after a while, right? Yeah. So who was your transfer again?
Actually, I bring in Archer for Osula.
So to strengthen your bench just in case Bowen didn't make it, which was the case. Yeah. So, but when you look at just now, we're talking about Gabriel and Trossard. Yeah. So the thing with Arsenal, they look like they're no longer the attacking force that we look at. The focus seems to be on controlling, something like what Manchester City do, and as a result, the defense investment in the defense seems to be a decent way to go about it when it comes to Arsenal assets. So obviously in this match, Saka did return, nice 8-pointer, but again he was the assister. He wasn't the main goal. He wasn't goal scorer. But it's something to think about when moving forward with Arsenal assets. Watkins blanked as well. So again, I think it was another frustrating time for especially if you watch the match. And I think most of us. The thing is, most of us. I think many of us were already out by Sunday night. So even though there was a Fulham Wolves match, but most of us weren't involved in that. Yeah, another goal scoring affair. So yeah, other than that, it's fine. You are stuck with Areola, I guess, for now. But then West Ham have a decent run of fixtures. Maybe we'll one day see a clean sheet from here some point.
I'm not gonna put so much hope on Raiola. I think he's still delivering at least the save point. So maybe he can produce at least 2 points, 3 points per week. with his price tag at 4.2, so you can't complain on that, I suppose. Okay. I mean, let's go to your team. You scored slightly lower, 41 points. So your rank a bit down from 2.9 to 3.28 million.
Yeah, so it was nice feeling of being within the 3 million group for a while, but I honestly kind of expected to be roughly not moving that much, judging from the matches. It would take some brilliance, which I thought would come with captaining Eze. So after the first match, where most people had captained either Haaland or Salah, and I was looking at it, Salah just an assist, Haaland just the one. So it was, it looks like it could get away with this. We were putting some hopes up. But I knew that Crystal Palace traditionally they don't score much in the first half, hardly score any goals. So we always waiting for second half, only for him to come off even before the 60th minute in tears. And the fact that it was in tears tells me, oh no, it's not just going to be this week I'm going to miss him. It's going to be several matches. So really frustrated with that. But it is what it is. A bit of bad luck there. So
Yep.
One thing I told my co-host Hafiz is that I intentionally fielded Simikas because I thought that it might end up to be a controlling, low-scoring game, and and he's still taking some of the set pieces. So I thought there was a chance. So in the end, he only called me 2 posts. White came in as a sub. When I saw he started, he didn't start, and my heart sank. And then I knew that that's nothing to be done there. Only for him to come, and then I see him coming in as a sub, like 1 pointer, which turned out to be a good thing because it meant Cash got stuck on the bench and with 0 pointers. Now, so what I did was, I think in the last 30 minutes, I gambled. I decided to take a gamble and hoping White would start instead of Ken, so that I would play him instead of Cash, because I was thinking that Cash is. I wasn't quite confident with Cash. Last
because he's actually yellow flag last week.
Yeah. That's right. He was yellow flagged as well. So it was a case of deciding which one. But then they did say Cash did train. Cash had trained. So anyway, I got lucky there. Pedro Porro turned out to be is looking at the eye test in that match. It looks like he could be really one to watch. He had a lot of shots and he was taking most of the set pieces. So I'm happy to have him and hold him for now. Other than that, Mbuemo blanked, unfortunately, in that 1-0.
Oh, he could easily, 1 goal from Ramsdale Fowler, right?
Yeah. So Ramsdale, even though he did end up keeping clean sheet, but there were quite a few howlers that he just didn't look confident enough. So he's not going to be threatening Raya anytime soon. And that's it. Another disappointment was Darwin, who blanked despite having some good chances, but yeah, that's the thing with Darwin holders. We just got the
you gotta ride it all the way.
Yeah, take the rough with the smooth, man. And it's still a good run of matches so coming up. So yeah, gotta keep the faith.
I think one pointer that I want to make is Douglas Lewis. At least he actually continued to produce that assist. I think the goal, the first goal for Villa.
I did not. So I was reluctant to mention Douglas Lewis because I was quite happy to see, and then I was watching the match and closely following the bonus points. Kept moving, and then suddenly Douglas Lewis ends up with 2 bonus points, so which is great for him considering.
2 bonus point. Okay, good.
Yeah, considering it was also an away match where most of his pointers have come at home. So him getting 2 points, second to Lo Celso.
Goal scorer of course.
And what's the other thing? So Pedro Porro, who assisted that goal, got 1 bonus point. So in the end, I seem to have the 2 players right for that match. The Son blanked and Watkins blanked again. So I was like,
Watkins goal.
Sorry, yeah, but both Pedro Porro and Douglas Lewis scored higher than Watkins.
Yeah. So I like that Poro pick. I think this week against City is not a good match, but after that, I think Spurs can be a decent pick again, playing back to back home. Okay, then after that have decent fixture until the end of the season, and without Madison on the squad right now, man. So Poro is the main uh, set
Set
piece,
piece.
yes, set piece duty. So I think it's good. His price at 5.3 is still excellent, and you just keep him. I think the one main concern or topic that we're gonna share is actually both of us has cash, right, man? So he's right now is the issue that we need to tackle. What do you think, man?
Yeah, so cash is definitely something that for us we have to handle. Although I have a more pressing concern now in Eze, who is definitely is not going to start the next few, and let's bear in mind the priority that we need to have a good bench, because it's inevitable that we will have players who we always expect to start get rested. Okay, maybe not Salah, maybe not Haaland, but most of them, even Mbuemo, even Saka, we've seen him get rested. So it's we need to have a good working bench.
Man, just take a quick look on captaincy. You did mention it's not a big game week for the premium players, can I say? So it is actually they are in this table. The game week 30 captaincy. Actually, Saka is turned out to be the highest one over Haaland, Salah, Son, and also Watkins, the top players in the game right now. So Haaland, captain by 5 million managers, it's most likely that he's going to be the most captain players every week. He got only 7 points. Salah, so basically, Haaland goal and Salah produce an assist there to balance out. If you actually captain Salah or Haaland, it's not a big margin there, 2 points different. If you captain Salah, it's not that bad pick anyway. Son, I think, suffers the most because he blank. The rest at least produce something. Saka, like we mentioned, and assist and 2 bonus point. Watkins a goal, but a yellow card. So yeah, I mean, we still good, right? In terms of Haaland, I think Haaland and Salah is still the premium pick that people going to pick.
Yeah, so when it comes to the captaincy, you saw the Liverpool City match. There were chances, but it was a really a well-paced game. Not it wasn't a frantic one. So just like me as a captainer, those who didn't captain Haaland and Salah were probably thinking the same way I was thinking, was that, oh, there's a good chance, my captain pick do
Opportunity.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Saka getting 8 points already wins. That's
Yep.
Which is quite decent. So I think it was a assist, a clean sheet, and appearance points and bonus point. So we got 8, so which is good. But I can't imagine what it would have been like to be a Sun owner, because if you saw for those of us who saw the Villa Spurs match, it was insane. Angie, the Spurs managers, really set up his team to attack, and with fast-paced players, attack at Aston Villa's high line, and there were so many chances going back and forth that as a Sun owner, it just was, and probably a Watkins owner until he scored. It was just so frustrating to watch. So many shots. He didn't seem to have any proper midfield players. Spurs. So it was really just on the attack. No center backs as well. It was just moving, but how it ended up only 3 goals in that match is crazy, because it could have had
It could easily Sun score hat trick, like we mentioned. So if that happened, the managers, the 848,000 managers, the brave managers could have been awarded, right?
even Pedro Porro had quite a few chances as well, and he was quite the focus as well. So it's just bad luck to Sun owners, but it is what it is. Shit happens.
I
Sorry.
don't know if you want to give him chance against City this week, but I don't think we're going to go there. Okay.
Maybe not.
Okay. I mean, quickly look at the team of the week for game week 13. The total points, normally that when we mention about team of the week, they will score easily 140, sometimes 150, but this week only 129. So we can see there's not a lot of points we can get in terms of this team. But it's still some players that we should look at, all right? because maybe I'll touch a bit on the Bournemouth players first, because Tavernier, who actually scored the highest in this team of the week with 16 points. There's a lot of hype in terms of Bournemouth fixture. They have decent fixture, and also they're picking up in terms of form. But people are looking the likes of Solanke, because he's actually the main man who scored the goal and also getting his on penalty duty and some more. But the likes of Tavernier and Clivert is in here for us to think whether those players that you want to bring in for Bournemouth. But as we mentioned, midfield will be a tough place to get some differential pick to put inside there. But those are the players right now in here. Other than that, I just want to touch about Manchester United asset. Maybe they have some form coming back. Onana coming into the team of the week with 9 pointers here. Dalo still low in ownership. Continue to take clean sheet and then got some. I think it's an assist and 3 bonus point there, 12. And Marshall got 11 points. Maybe we won't go there, but at least he's there at this until Hochland coming back into the team. Other than that, there's only one Arsenal representative, and it's not someone that we are thinking, but Zinchenko is there, 9 pointer, not Saliba or Gabriel or like so Ben White also missing that game. But I think Gordon is someone that we're going to talk. 13 points there. Really good performance. 1 goal and assist against Chelsea. Is the one that people talking about enabler. Come and go, 2 points, then 13 points, double-digit points together. You have him before this in your squad, man. So what you can make out of the team of the week for Gameweek 30?
Okay, yeah. So just pick out the few popular fantasy picks. Onana is one of them. Then you have Gordon. So it really is those two that if you don't have them, it would have damaged your rank, and a bit of Dalot as well. Pedro, although his ownership is less than 10%, but those who have him, I think half of them have him on their bench, and frustratingly to get to see. So unfortunately, and I can't remember, but I think Pedro started on the bench as well. He came in as a sub. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Yeah. So it's whoever managed to get him as a sub got lucky there, and then if he came on as a sub. So, but bottom line is it really is about Gordon. So whoever had him. So even because you have the like was Willian, who in the Fulham Wolves game who scored, also looks like he's the penalty taker as well. Yeah. So, but it's too risky. So the question now is whether or not Gordon is a good pick going forward. And for those of us who haven't invested in more than one, who want to looking at doubling up on the Arsenal defense, then you definitely Zinchenko may be considered as well.
Yep. We touch a bit on those players. Other that Giggs, right? Another player, because I think for Forest have some decent fixture. He's the main man. Awoni won't be around for a while now because he's injured. Woods coming in as the main striker. I think it's what took the penalty, right? So it's clearly he's the one that is still decent in terms of price. So maybe that's someone that we can monitor or you can jump in.
Yeah. But Martial is someone we got to wait and see.
Yeah. Also, in terms of top 10 players after game week 13, Salah and Haaland already joined the 100 club, right? So there's no surprise there. I feel those two players you need to be inside your team right now. I know some managers do not have Haaland. Okay, maybe some do not have Salah yet. But in terms of ownership, Salah only 48.4% there, So there's still a lot of managers do not have Salah yet in his team. Talking about those two players, what do you think? Salah, Haaland first.
It's inevitable, isn't it? So you had Haaland who was doing well at the start, whereas Salah wasn't really scoring that well, but just ticking along, still getting points. And then suddenly Salah exploded, and then Haaland was taking the back seat. But now they're pretty much equal again, and it's the 22-23 season all over again, looks like. And even the third place, which is Watkins, Watkins was also doing well last season, and there he is. Bowen, I'm just moving down a bit, so Bowen is definitely grabbing the headlines once again after a relatively sedate season last season, but now he's back in form again. But no real. Is there any real surprise? I have to admit I'm surprised by Gordon. He has been doing a lot better than I already thought him, and even then I thought it wouldn't last, which is why I decided to sell him to my bad luck. Yeah. So, but all the others, those are decent fantasy options that you would have taken last year as well. The one difference I feel is Alvarez, who, because at the start you would have to take a risk with. I know that Kevin De Bruyne was out, but Alvarez was, I think that we were still uncertain as to how much of a role he would play and whether he would be subject to risky minutes. So those who decided to go for him early were definitely rewarded. And
I think
but now,
he's going to play still a key role in terms of Man City, because what I heard that KDB can only have a chance to return somewhere early Jan or end of December. So Alvarez minute should be more secure in terms of this December period.
well,
That's
I'm
what I
not sure.
think.
True, but the thing is, he's one of those players who's probably not as secure when now that everyone is fit apart from Kevin De Bruyne. So given this congestion period, I do feel his minutes will be a bit more at risk. So, well, which is for the cost for Manchester City players anyway. So yeah, there you
What
go.
do you mean? You mentioned about Doku before this. You're interested this December period. He's going to share minute with Grealish, right?
Yeah, so this Doku thing is, I flirted with the idea, but then I did give up on it precisely, primarily because since he is considered the newbie of Manchester City at times when they want to look at controlling having a controlling game, then Doku is not the one to come in. Maybe he'll come in as a sub, but I can see them games where he will not start, and given the risk of the December fixtures, I'm not confident about
Okay.
going for him. I need to
Right.
go for
Other than
Grealish.
that, I can see the like of Salah, Haaland, Watkins, 90-minute man. Son, even 90 minutes right now they're playing. He's looks comfortable now without his injury. Saka also 90 minutes man for Arteta team. Bomo for sure. Bowen for sure for West Ham. Trippier for sure whenever he's available. Newcastle almost won last yesterday game against PSG. Only been denied 90 minutes against Mbappe goal from. So they still have a chance, but it's a slim one. Gordon there could be a 90 minutes man, because Bun's still not back, and and Newcastle team are really depleted. I mean, if you see the lineup, their bench really kicks and three
Yeah.
goalkeepers, something like that.
So it'll be a sad thing to see them kicked out if they lose in the Champions League at the first hurdle. But then, if we've seen the how good the squad can be even when they are depleted. The loss to Bournemouth the week before seems like an anomaly at this point. So you would think that if they get knocked out of the Champions League, that will give their players more time to recuperate and actually do better and do what they did last season and finish. So definitely bearing looking at. We just, of course, we have to consider the injuries and decide whether or not it's worth risking, but it's definitely something to look at given the fact that Newcastle, I think they're second on the fixture ticker. So you just need to get the right players to do that. I think they're the second, top five.
Okay, later we shall see. We take a look at the fixture condition, mate. This is a nice visual from Lego Money. We did touch. So what will happen is we have like 7, 8 game week or matches until the end of December. 13 already passed. We have 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, up to 20th, the last game week in 2023. Okay. So here in this visual, what we have is the outlook for all teams. Okay, we can see the fixture playing for this between 13 and 14. There is actually the European competition, UCL, Europa, and also Conference League. Okay, so you can see there in terms of recovery period. But 14 this Saturday, then 15 is another Premier League match. Yeah, you mentioned. So we're going to have a midweek Premier League match, and then 16 another weekend match. So there'll be three, can I say, a deadline for Premier League match. So you can really rest in terms of this 14, 15 and 16. After that, between 16 and 17, there will be another European match for UCL Europa. So the last one to conclude the group stages. Okay. After that, 17, the week that you're gonna play, in the middle, there will be Carabao Cup quarterfinal, of which there's some team involved there. I can see the likes of Newcastle, Liverpool, Fulham, Chelsea, West Ham, and also Everton. Those are the teams that they're gonna play during that midweek before 18 another deadline. At that juncture also the World Club Cup, of which the Man City and also Brentford gonna blank. Yeah, because Man City gonna play that involve the World Cup, and Brentford won't be playing because that is his opponent at the juncture. Then after that, 19, we're gonna play another midweek game, Premier League, if I'm right. Then after that, we can of Gameweek 20. Before you touch, I just want to touch a bit in terms of three teams who do not have any more midweek rest. Okay, because banyak fixture you can see here. The Newcastle not going to have any rest. They're going to play every midweek until end of season. Also your team, Liverpool. If I'm right, you can see the fixture because they involve all into those competition. They're still in Carabao Cup and also Europa League, and also West Ham. So those three are the team without any midweek rest. Also, we already touched about playing game week 18. Just a sneak preview, after 20, there will be AFCON. Game week 21 until 24. It's all depending who are going to AFCON later, but we're not going to go there yet. Okay, but clearly in terms of recovery period, 14, 15, 16, there's a lot of red color there that you need to be careful. What do you think, You're on mute.
So just to mention in terms of the AFCON, so there's also the Asia Cup that will happen as well, and so so at the same time, so you'll have players like Sun or Huang, unlikely to also feature during that time. So definitely something to put some long-term planning thought into it. Okay, so yeah, it's a really congested list. I just to look at the three teams that Newcastle, Liverpool, Villa. No rest for the wicked. So why are City not in there? Well, City because they were knocked out of the Carabao Cup, so as a result they don't have that. Arsenal as well. So it's so it leaves them free to focus on the league and the Champions League per se. And we know that City are they finished top of the table with one match to go. They've qualified for the knockout stages. So which shows the strength that they have at the moment. So those with Liverpool, you got to worry for those of us who have like Darwin. So Darwin is definitely a rotation risk, even though he has clearly shown that he is a starting player. But given the congestion schedule, given that Liverpool haven't qualified for the next stage of the Champions League yet, of the Europa League.
Okay.
Because they lost the last time out to in 3-1 back. Well, they lost last. Don't want to talk about it into detail, but the fact is, and you would still think, given Klopp's, he will still want him to progress in that as well. So he's going to wants to be able to field a full strength team. And what makes Darwin an additional risk is because players like Jota, players like Gakpo, players like
Diaz
are all good players. they're not clear second tier, so they can be come on as needed. So definitely that is a issue that you may want to think about after maybe not this weekend, but after that, so it's definitely something whether or not you want to keep him. So because Liverpool's fixtures are good, so maybe you want to decide whether it's worth having that attacker or looking more at someone like Virgil van Dijk, for example. Yeah. Also, Liverpool. Let's another thing is Alisson is out. They still try to decide how long, but if he's long enough, Kelleher becomes an option. He's like only 3.9, I think.
Yeah.
So
Like you mentioned.
good option if you, especially for
If
those
you
of
say
us.
you're talking about 5 weeks, 6 weeks, we're talking about December period, right? So you can
Yeah,
safely
but the recent news I read today, maybe it might be shorter. So keep on tabs on that before you make the move. Yeah, but it's
just stay at Liverpool topic. Just
yes.
want to ask you. Most probably, I feel since David starts against City, so against Lask, I suppose the Europa League, David might not start. So we are expecting he starts in Fulham game. But you can see that the recovery rate, period is actually 2 days there. Fulham between Sheffield United also 2 days. Sheffield United between Crystal Palace games is also only 2 days. So I feel there'll be a rotation for sure, right? And there's no players that going to be safe unless Salah or Van Dijk up to that. Other than that, even Simikas, you can't sure
Yeah,
about his unit, right?
yeah, and that's the worry, especially coming back. Thanks for pointing that out. So coming for those of you who have players like Darwin, let's say. So for the last cup match, he will be benched. The Fulham match, he'll play. Then the Sheffield match, which you would want your player to play against, that's the at risk of him not starting. So definitely that risk you'll have to decide whether or not you want to go with it. Having said that, as a Darwin owner, we're familiar with him. Even when he does start, the frustration when he looks like he's going to score but doesn't. So I think I would still run the gauntlet and risk him anyway. I mean, my advice for you is that I think it's still worth it.
If let's say people already jump into Darwin, like or even have Simikas, you're gonna play them. You're gonna try your luck and see. But if let's say someone who are not jumping yet, what's our advice be?
So that's the great question. Consider Kelleher instead of Simikas, cheaper option, and confirm will not be a rotational risk. But you just need to check just how long he's out for before you consider him, and you may consider having him instead of to transfer out your second keeper, which is that rather than your main keeper, because you can do it. He is cheaper than your second. Most of the second keepers available there, so it's relatively risk-free option. Now, in terms of the attack, it's hard to. I have no answer because I would say in terms of the attacking ranks right now, in terms of those likely to be rotated, I would put Darwin at the top, followed very closely by Diaz, and then Jota, then Gakpo. So would I want you to pick Darwin now? Maybe not, because you would rather spend that forward slot on someone like Watkins, who will definitely play every match. He may have his minutes managed. Maybe he would get stopped off, but Watkins is definitely someone who will start every match. And the same goes for someone like Isaac, who have great fixtures as well. Yeah, so again, because Wilson is out and you think that he would start most of the matches, it's just, again, similarly, he will have his minutes managed, but they will expect him to start.
Let's talk about Newcastle, since you already mentioned that also. Newcastle not going to have any midweek rest also. People interested, like the likes of Isaac, Gordon. Is the same case, right? On Darwin, right?
Yeah. So the biggest problem with Newcastle is the fact that in game week between game week and 16-17 is their Champions League match.
Yep.
Yeah, so Newcastle are hanging by the tatters in terms of qualifying, so they will want to go all out there, and
For
that
sure. At home against Milan. Yep.
to be fair, that is like hang on a second, that's 3 game weeks after this, so you may have still have time to assess, but at the moment, Manchester United, Everton, and Spurs, it looks as though it's not as it's the third. The next 3 fixtures, Fulham, Luton, and Forest, make Newcastle near the top of the fixture ticker. But even Manchester United looks tough at the moment, given Manchester
Mm.
United's form.
Mm.
Yeah, although Newcastle are at home.
Playing at home.
Yeah.
Yep.
But maybe if you skip that one, then I think against Everton and Spurs, it's definitely open season. You can definitely feel Spurs who lost last time out, but and they are still deep. I'm not sure, you'll have to check in terms of the injury issues, how long the center backs still out, but definitely you would think that Newcastle could take them as well, even at Spurs home ground.
Yep. Touch a bit on Man City Brentford. They're gonna blank in game week 18. But people are thinking bringing in Mbomo this week. The traffic is looking like that. But after 4 weeks, is going to blank. So what is our preparation? Because people might have Haaland. You bring in Mbomo, there'll be 2 players not going to play in game week 18.
Yeah. So the thing with Brentford is that they're not high on the fixture ticker because of the blank. But when you look at the fixtures that they have, Luton, Brighton, Sheffield, Aston Villa at where Brentford are at home and Aston Villa away are a bit more suck, as well as Wolves at home after the blank game week. It's just so attractive to have them, and given that the first week is this first match is Luton, those who don't have Brentford, who held off last week because of they were playing Arsenal. So now maybe the time to bring him in, where you would expect him to. There's high expectations, and we've already seen a price increase for him. So definitely you'd want to bring him in now. So that's for 4 game weeks, and then you have that blank. So the thing is, you can tuck him onto the bench in game week 18 and accompany Haaland. so those two. And maybe
you prepare your bench for that game, or there's another school of thought. You could actually free hit in game 18 if you loaded with this player. Maybe there's opportunity.
It is, and I mean there was a lot of talk, and I'm not going to go into detail that saying where in that second half of the season there isn't that big opportunities to free hit and do well. There doesn't seem to be any real clear advantage, so they may choose to free hit there, which okay, I think it's fine. Especially for those who can't stand having so much money on their bench in a game week. So it's something to think about. Then there's also people like the rare lot like me who could dead end into game week 18.
Yes, we want to touch about that because see, you have your wildcard main, so it's logical you to wait until your last time dead end your team at game week 18 and then wildcard in 19. So that your ideal case for sure.
Yeah, so going to then I go game week in 19 where I bring back Haaland who will play Everton, who by then I don't know what the status will be, but because you can't even Manchester City, according to Fantasy Football Hub, overall they are at the bottom of the fixture sticker. But when you look at the matches, Spurs at home, Spurs currently missing a lot of players, including Madison.
Romero will not play that game, right?
Yeah. Then after that is Villa, who definitely can concede in the best of times. Luton. So it's crazy. And then finally Crystal Palace, who do not look solid as they were before, but at the point that I brought in Johnston and I haven't got a clean sheet yet. So it's definitely something to worry about with Crystal Palace. But my point here is that Manchester City, there's no reason for you to get rid of. But the thing is, there are those of us I know one fellow content creator, FPL Raptor, who still needs to find a way to bring in Haaland, who
Okay.
bring back Haaland because he doesn't have Haaland.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They
so
wildcarded out Haaland in
given
eight, I think. Yeah.
so given the fixtures, Haaland is still a good pick to have. So yeah, definitely can't go with it's hard. Those of us who still have Haaland, of course, we're not going to sell him anymore right now, right? The other thing that I want to look at just quickly consider is Manchester United. So Manchester United are looking decent, and after some slow draws where they were playing control, really not much points. Suddenly against Everton, they burst into life with a 3-0. Of course, unfortunately, the Rashford scored again. So something to think about with Rashford, because once he starts, he could go on a streak.
Okay.
We know that it's really a confidence player. You saw how bad he was at the start of the season, but now that he scored, can he go on? And Fernandez blanked against Everton, but all in all, it looked decent. So could
Okay.
United
I reserve my comment yet until the game against
Newcastle?
Newcastle. We shall see.
Well, they do have the Champions League to get to, so let's see that tonight, how that goes tonight.
Okay. Oh yeah, interesting. So Min, quickly on some stats. The best attack, there's no surprise. Liverpool, Man City in terms of XG, they are top two. Chelsea to an extent in terms of XG, but their goals are scored only 22, so still low. Then Newcastle, Villa, up to Brentford and Arsenal. Those are the attacking teams that the best in the department right now. But you should focus in terms of Liverpool and Man City for sure first before you jump into other assets. Arsenal in terms of XG, they number 8. Is it somewhere there? Is it a surprise? Or, although a lot of manager interested to bring a lot of Arsenal attackers, but it come back to our in terms of underlying stats. They are not really up there, and yeah, the goals are not coming that high in terms of volume. So Newcastle and Villa scored more than Arsenal at this juncture.
Yeah, so you just mentioned there how should focus on Liverpool, Manchester City as having the best attack, but who after Salah and Haaland, who on earth are you going to go for? We talked about just now on the Liverpool side, but even on the City side, Foden, Grealish, Doku, Bernardo Silva, even, and it's hard to run because you always run the risk of them not starting. So Chelsea look good. You got Palmer, Sterling, definitely as options, but you also have to consider Nkunku coming back. Is he ready? Let's wait for team news on him. Will he go immediately into the lineup?
It will be managed minute for sure coming in slowly into the team.
Then you have Newcastle, who seem to definitely those who have Gordon stick with him. Don't be like me and sell him. Isaac is definitely someone to consider. And those of you who are Trippier, keep at him because he will be focal to the attack as well.
Okay. Quickly look at the best defense, man. There's no surprise when we talk about attack. Arsenal might not be up there, but Arsenal, in terms of the best defense, they are top in terms of XG considered. So there is no surprise when you talk about double up into Arsenal defense. The like of Saliba, 5.5, 5.4 million right now is most assured. Then Gabriel, maybe to an extent, but maybe a benching in 6 game or 5 games. There will be some benching. Zinchenko, we mentioned about team of the week just now, 9 points. After that, Man City, Newcastle, and even Liverpool up there. And to an extent, Chelsea also. So those are the defense that we should focus, and the most considered Bournemouth, Luton, and Sheffield United if you want to target the team in terms of attack. So is double up viable, mean for Arsenal? Those are the thinking right now.
So the thing is, Saliba ain't cheap. he's 5.5, so it's not a
Mahal,
thing.
mahal.
And the thing is, but I'm even though White didn't play, I'm happy that I have White because his price went up to 5.7, so making it hard for others to pick him.
Yes.
But otherwise, he was 5.5, which is my investment when I picked him. So, and White Saliba is the first in terms of point scoring, and White is behind him
Right, okay, yeah.
by 7 points. Yeah, mainly because of some absentees, and that's obviously Gabriel isn't there because he missed, and he was a doubt of even getting a regular start at first. Yeah, so those of you who have Arsenal defender, definitely hold on. Now, for whether or not to pick an additional one up, yeah, well, you definitely have options. In terms, Gabriel is still the cheapest one, which is the attractiveness of it all. But we've seen Zinchenko come into the fore as well, and we know that Zinchenko, in open play, he is definitely more attacking. Having said that, you get the if you watch the matches, you get the feeling that there's not going to be that many attacking points to be had because Arsenal seem to be a bit more playing the controlling game rather than the full all-out attack game, and this might be even more emphasized during this congested period where they want to protect the players and not and grind it out, something like Manchester City are good at doing as well. So which is why going for the cheapest option like Gabriel might be a better option because the main focus is getting that clean sheet. So why spend a lot of money? So definitely that's because for someone like me who has Ben White, I invested in him because of his attacking potential. But at the moment, it looks like it's best to invest in players just for the clean sheet, so don't need to spend so much, which means someone like...
When we talk about Saliba investing like 5 million, I would rather buy someone like Poro who has upside. Okay, someone like maybe not cash anymore right now. Someone like who else? Like Reece James, although he's been red carded. Okay, but unlucky like Tom Freeman actually bring in James last week. He's been red carded, so we won't know that.
Well,
yes,
it's
Trent
interesting
is going to be higher, 7.9 million. You can't afford Trent for sure.
Well, it's interesting that Trent is still out of reach. He just seems overpriced given his point output. But it's interesting that you mentioned Poro because yes, you want him for his attacking upside, but at the moment his defensive points seem non-existent. Not going to happen at this stage. So it really is the attacking points that you.
So means that the base must be the clean sheet first, then stick out on the attacking.
Yeah. So right now with Pedro Porro, your base is the attacking because as a Pedro Porro owner, I'm really looking at that attacking potential because I know that clean sheets aren't going to happen. I mean, hell, they play Manchester City next. After that is West Ham, who can score, no problem. After that is Newcastle, who are crazy. Yeah, then only Forest, Everton, and Brighton. So that's only then your potential for clean sheets might be there. So yeah.
I just read out here. Arsenal, we already talked about that. Man City, I don't know which one you want to go if you want to go defense. Walker could be the safe one, but 5.3 million. Akanji 4.9. You just never know which one to pick. Ake, not certain because he's fighting with Guardiola. So no. But Newcastle, you can't go wrong with the sales 4.1, 4.2 million right now. Although people might concern about Botman coming back, we just uncertain yet, right? I mean, people are concerned about that, but I don't think we should put so much concern because it is still unclear.
Plus, Botman isn't exactly expensive. It's quite cheap, so you can have him and have some playing subs just in case.
Then number 4, if you want to go Liverpool, I can only think about Tsimikas because you won't go Van Dijk, 6 million plus, TAA 7.9. You want to go to Matip? I don't think so. So you left with not so much option, right? Unless Keller, right? Could be the option if Alisson, the injury one. If you want to go on the defense, you go to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the of course the question is that will Kelleher be as
Kelleher, yeah.
synchronized with like Allison was, So that is definitely there will be some disruption. So you need to
Okay.
decide whether that disruption is minimal or it is a significant. Because how high do you rate Kelleher as a keeper compared to Allison? You would think that by default there's quite a huge gap there. So whether or not the rest of the team can bring Kelleher up to speed, that's a question. I just want to also just quickly point out Chelsea as a best defense, which is quite fascinating given the previous high scoring games that Chelsea seem to be
Mm,
involved in.
mm.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess
If
in
you want
terms
to
of
go for Chelsea defense, I can take out the cheap one lah. Unless you want to go James, but yeah, we are still in terms of his minutes for sure. Sanchez as the goalkeeper. You won't go for Thiago Silva or Desasi at 5 million. I'm not too sure.
yeah.
Cowell could be the option 4.5 if he's clearly fit back into the team.
Hmm. Yeah, but again, this rotation because you got Reece James getting himself kicked out again, even though he's not fit,
Mm.
even though he's fit. But because last time out they lost 4-1 against Newcastle, and then there was more high scoring matches against
Against Man City, there's concede 4 goals. Yeah.
4, and then
There's
against
Spurs.
Spurs Chelsea they conceded 1 goal. But I guess the point is that um, the goals that they've conceded were taken. There were not a lot of big chances conceded, but the ones that were conceded turned into goals. So other than that, they kept it to a minimal. So I don't know if you want to look at Roberto Sanchez the keeper for example as an option.
Okay.
Gusto seems to still be injured, even though Reece James is
Or is
out.
it?
So
Okay.
yeah, he's still flagged. So even though I have him on the bench, I'm not putting any high hopes unless he does
We
get
shall
injured.
see the team news. Then we have a
Plus,
clearer.
plus, plus, we saw that even when Reece James was injured, that Gusto didn't start. Or
Oh,
when Reece James
ah,
was,
coming in. Okay. Yeah.
they were together on the bench. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Go on.
Personally, as a Chelsea fan, I still have reservation whether we should dive into Chelsea asset. But yeah, there's some interesting stats that showing that SG concede is low, but they still concedes goals. That's still a concern. Okay. I mean, let's go to the midfield template. Just want to talk about because this that people are talking about right now, because inevitably the FPL mayor did mention about this is where our midfield gonna be. This could be true at an extent because the like of Salah already looking at 50% ownership. Then we talk about Saka and Son. Looks like everyone wants them, okay, because they are the talisman of the team and playing 90 minutes. Then the next one, people are going to bring in Mbomo, especially this week. Then you left with enabler like Palmer, and this could be the template of midfield, mate. 13 million, 9.6 million San, Saka 8.8, Mbomo 7 million and uprising, Palmer 5.3 and also continue to rise. What do you think, mate? Do you feel this could be the template that people should go, or looks like this is the template that evolving?
I think it's insane to say this, but I feel that if you were out of the one person you may want to decide not to have in this team is Saka, simply because Arsenal do not seem to be playing the attacking game. Palmer, you mentioned him as an enabler, but he definitely looks like he's a regular starter. It's just a question of how Chelsea reshuffle the team when Nkunku goes in. But the fact is, open field play, even though he hasn't scored any goals over open field play, he's been quite involved, and a lot of the big chances, are due to his creation. So definitely, Palmer is good. Son, again, it's a question of how effective he is without medicine, but we've seen that he's just terribly unlucky. So anyone who watched the Spurs match last week the Spurs Villa lah, right? Yes, the Spurs Villa match. Yeah, will hold off because they were looking at that Spurs Villa match to see whether or not he can do it without medicine, and from the looks of it, he can, even though he scored no goals and on 2 point because theoretically, as you mentioned earlier, he could have had a hat trick.
Yep.
So That's credit to NG. I guess Spurs were the manager, so bad luck for those Sun owners. But if you had watched that, you would seen enough for you to continue to hold him anyway. So yeah. So other than that,
I think a competition that people can talk about here is maybe Gordon. If you feel Gordon should be in this template, maybe, but you need to take out someone like Palmer or Mbomo. I don't know. In terms of rank, I think Salah number one need to be there. Then maybe Son to an extent. Mbomo need to be there also. So Saka could be the one that you need to sacrifice. Another one is not in here, is actually Bowen. Say if he fits, West Ham still has the fixture. So maybe those two could rival those players here.
Yeah. The reason West Ham are a bit lower because of they're facing teams like Spurs and then Crystal Palace. But Crystal Palace of late, we know they're not defensively sound anymore, and Spurs also also having problems with the defense. So it would have by reality is West Ham could have been higher on the fixture ticket. So you're right, definitely Bowen is considered, and I wonder if Kudus is also an option. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the, and would you be surprised if I'm saying this? All these 5 players are actually the penalty taker of their team. Salah, Saka, to an extent, Son. Even though Spurs, there is no situation that Spurs has penalty and Son take it, right? And so it's still unproven. Okay, but we feel Son going to take the penalty, and Momo for sure. And Palmer already showed that he has that quality.
Yeah, so Palmer hasn't missed the penalty yet, but I do wonder that let's say I do wonder if let's say if Chelsea who play Brighton next, let's say if Chelsea are 2-0 up and then they get a penalty, I do wonder that if Nkunku is there, will they give it to him so that he can get off the mark? Yeah, I do have a bit of reservation there because it may be something that they want to do, to push the striker on. But if Nkunku doesn't start, then it doesn't matter. So you'd still back Palmer.
Okay, that's the midfield template. For sure, if you're shaping up to this, I think you're becoming the template that we can say. All right,
almost there.
Game 14 fixture, man. We're gonna have like a late deadline because all the matches gonna play 11 p.m. Malaysian time. We have Arsenal versus Wolves there. Okay, we expect another win for Arsenal, but Wolves, they lost again Fulham on Monday. We have Brentford Luton. This is the money ball game where we expect Brentford to win big, but maybe we should not jinx them because Mbeumo coming in and no point for him. I think another important match, Burnley versus Sheffield United. Both teams need these 3 points, man. Burnley did lead 1-0 but lost
2-1.
2-1, right? To West Ham, sorry. So they really disappointed, but there's another opportunity at home against Sheffield United, who lost to Bournemouth last week. And then we have on Saturday midnight, we have Nottingham Forest versus Everton, and really late night, 4 a.m. Newcastle versus Manchester United. This is the way that important match for both teams because Manchester already start picking up result, but Newcastle also definitely decent form. On Sunday, we have all the Europa League and Conference League teams going to play. Bournemouth versus Villa. We have Chelsea versus Brighton. Whether Chelsea can bounce back from their awful defeat against Newcastle. We have Liverpool versus Fulham. We expect that game to Liverpool to shine for sure. And we have West Ham versus Crystal Palace, London Derby. And we close off with interesting Man City versus Spurs on midnight Sunday. What do you think, man, in terms of game week 14 fixture? What interests you?
There's quite a lot of Moneyball fixtures here. You got Brentford versus Luton, Arsenal versus Wolves, although Arsenal not as attacking. Then you have Liverpool versus Fulham, and bear in mind all these teams are playing at home, which makes them Moneyball. Arsenal, Brentford, Liverpool, and finally Manchester City as well. And West Ham versus Palace. There's plenty of options there. Who do you captain? there's also a big problem that we it's going to be hard to figure out. The only problem I have is that Newcastle versus Manchester United thing, but I know not many of us have that many assets from Manchester United, and maybe we have a defender, but
I think this a match that Manchester United going to prove. If let's say they keep another clean sheet, because I think they already keep clean sheet in 3 in a row, if I'm right. So this is something. If this happens, then I think people will jump into Manchester United asset.
So bear in mind that tonight Manchester United play their Champions League match. So it'll be interesting to see whether they end up like Newcastle or better.
They have to win the next two, right?
Yeah, so it's interesting because they are both in the Champions League as well. Chelsea versus Brighton. I just want to point out, I do feel Chelsea are on the up. Brighton are going nowhere. So those of you, Palmer is definitely primed there, and I do wonder whether someone like Sterling could pay off as well.
All right, man. Good stuff. Game for 50 feature. We'll talk about the fixture more in our deadline stream. Captain Pick, man, quickly one. There's a lot of interest in terms of. I thought Haaland gonna be up there, but it's a close one. Salah is on top right now in terms of voting. Liverpool versus Fulham. Maybe because Man City versus Spurs hard on paper. What do you think, man? Haaland could still deliver against Spurs, who are still a depleted side.
No Madison, meaning the attacking potential reduces, and then no centre backs, no key. The first choice centre backs are not there either. So definitely Haaland could have a field day as well. So and then they coming into this with a big bounce, having qualified for the next round of the Champions League. So I and it's just that you will have to sit through all the matches because City's match is the last one.
That's one, yeah.
So if you see Salah score a hat trick against Fulham, then you're gonna start fidgeting. The only thing going against Haaland is the fact that I'm worried that City may do the score early and then just sit back and control the game kind of game, and so got to worry for that as well. And if they sit back and control the game, let's say they 2-0 up, there might even be a chance that Haaland gets subbed off to keep him fresh for the next match. So that's a concern I have with.
Because they're also playing in midweek, right? So I think that could be a possibility.
But on the Salah problem is that they're still involved in all 4 competitions, and you wonder that he will probably still start, or he won't start in the. No, but the good thing with Salah is that he will not start in the Europa. He will always be as a sub. He won't, and he's unlikely to start in the Carabao Cup as well. So that's something to. But I don't know. Given the the current situation with Europa, there still might be a possibility he might start. Don't know.
Right. Okay, man. Let's go to our team. We start with yours first. What is your thinking right now? You have 1 free transfer and 0.4 million in the bank. You did mention about tackling Eze.
Yeah. So Eze is one thing, but there is a possibility that I just, depending on his injury, I'm still trying to figuring out how long he's apparently he has an ankle injury, so at the moment it looks like he's out before Christmas. Up until before Christmas, so we know that already. So the thing is, he's not likely to suffer badly in terms of price drop because not many people have him anyway, by definition. So there is if I feel like saving a transfer, and just leaving the team as is, which theoretically I wish I had done last week because Gordon would have done great for me. But
Bring back Gordon.
I could keep Eze in and just stuck him on the bench and play Amdouni, who plays Sheffield United. So
is
Burnley
he someone that you can trust? I'm not too sure.
Pardon?
Is he someone that you can trust?
You can't trust any Burnley player, but Burnley are desperate at this point in time, having seen them expected. They thought they could actually win against West Ham or need to lose at the end.
Okay.
So
All right.
Amdouni, I did watch that Burnley West Ham match a bit, and Amdouni was a
Okay.
decent player. He had his chances. He won't,
Okay.
so he's unlikely he'll be dropped. Yeah, and the only problem there is, what do I do with cash? Because it does look like a favorable matchup, but Villa are away, so I would expect Villa to concede even though they win. So I just need to decide on whether I should play cash or maybe even bench Douglas Luiz. But
No. You don't bench that,
no,
Louis. No.
uh,
Are you going to play Poro over cash?
I'm gonna play Poro.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna
All
play
right.
Poro. I like
Okay.
so with the thing with Douglas Luiz, and you're right, because Douglas Luiz, I watched that Villa game with Spurs, and I know previous seasons he's always seemed to be that holding midfielder thing, but he gets forward a lot. He's
Yeah.
in the box more often than I thought he would, so definitely
Yeah.
like him as a pick.
Yeah. I like that, and he's the penalty taker for Aston Villa. So you just never
Spurs,
know. You could get that and get a free penalty take. So
yes,
I think okay, you can roll this and play Ambuni. I think I like that cheeky move. Because you might need those transfer in game week 15 because it's in the
yes,
middle of the year. So that could be a
yes.
crucial transfer. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay, that's your team. Quickly to my team. I have two free transfer for sure. I'm gonna make a move this week. Arila in goal. I have cash. Lascelles, man. I'm gonna play Lascelles, and hopefully Newcastle going to keep a clean sheet against Manchester United at home. Okay, at least they play at home. Gabriel, Wolves. I have Palmer. I have Bowen for now. Saka, Son, and Salah. Watkins and Haaland, and I captain Haaland for now. On my bench, Archer, Braithwaite, and Taylor. My move is more likely if Bowen is out, then it is the no-brainer move. The one that people are going to make move is getting in Bomo into the team. But there's also a thought. If let's say Bowen fit, what you going to do, Hafiz? I might still do that move because by going to Mbomo, I'm going to save zero point 0.5 million and I can actually upgrade my defense. That I'm thinking. So I have one transfer made for that, and another transfer I'm going to make. I think cash could be out. I can't hold that his price anymore. And who can come in? I can bring in Poro, but it's against City. It's just not the best entry point. So the next one is Simikas in my mind because I already said I'm going to bring him back because he delivered at 15 points. And I'd say sorry, Simikas, for getting you out from the team. I'm going to get you back. But the thing is, when we look at back the fixture congestion, man, I'm worried about Simika's minutes after thinking again. But I could actually make that move anyway, so I'm not too sure. What do you think, mate?
So the question is that now, okay, Liverpool have a decent amount of fixtures, but you worry there's a possible rotation as well. Looking at your team, because okay, Cash, he's a sacrificial lamb, but he will start. He gets sacrificed, yeah. So you
Can
don't
you
worry about.
can you promise that he's gonna start again, Bournemouth?
Yes, I can promise you that.
Sure.
I don't know what the outcome that is because, but yeah, but because at the end of the day, Villa still won.
Okay,
If
thank.
Villa had lost, then you got to wonder. Yeah, so NG might be confident that his change in tactics, helped to Villa to win, but doesn't mean he won't still start with cash. Just that if things are not going well, he gets sacrificed. And just to point out as well, for those of you who have him, Diaby got sacrificed as
Mm.
well at halftime. So Diaby no longer looking secure as a pick. In fact, midfield wise, it's Douglas Lewis and of course Watkins, who has more secure picks at this time. So anyway, coming back to your team, have you? So because Bowen was just a last, was he? But then in the end, he did last check. But in the end, he wasn't even on the bench, right?
Yeah.
Last month. So there's a
He's
worry there.
totally out.
So we'll find out tomorrow night because for the West Ham Europa match. Let's say he's still out for a long while. Have you considered trying Archer again. It sounds horrible considering he killed people last week, but I don't know because it is a. I do wonder whether that Sheffield Burnley match will turn out to be a high scoring game. Because both teams are a bit desperate.
Actually, I have high hope in terms of Archer points until he break my heart last week, because I thought if that game against Bournemouth at home he couldn't take any advantage, then away is going to be tougher. So that's my feeling.
So the only feel that I feel I'm not so sure about there is Sun actually.
Okay, I think that could be another possibility that Spurs.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it is going to depend on how I'm feeling coming to the deadline. So we shall see.
Yeah. Other than that, your bench is about right lah. Braithwaite, Taylor, yeah. Actually, Taylor. Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Only you can do that.
But it's good. That means you have a bench, a working bench. You see, so and that's something that you need for the
period. Yes.
For this period, yeah. So it's great because I definitely have problems because I have Gusto who's injured, and who and even if he doesn't seem he's got a starting spot anyway. So
we take some question from Arakan FPL and Men. We touch about Palmer on Bomo. I feel Bomo more superior. He's actually has a better underlying stats over Palmer. He's the number 3 after Haaland and Salah.
Unless you don't have the funds, then just go for Palmer and hope for the best.
I think this is situation for me. Bowen, keep or sell. I think if you just wait for the team news, and if it's well, then you can keep. But if still uncertain, I think he need to be sell. Interesting, mate. We did mention about these two players, Lascelles and Colville.
Lascelles, I don't know. I mean, I got to give credit to how he still managing to make the Newcastle look good despite losing some key personnel.
Yep. I think Lascelles for now. If you have money, it's money no issue. Is Raya is a consideration over Johnston.
Okay, I thought about this on Monday, Rakan FPL. Johnston to Raya, because do I want to just take a hit and get rid of Johnston because I feel that the Crystal Palace no longer looking secure, whereas Arsenal are looking good in defense. So I was thinking that double up there instead of getting another defender, get Raya. So the thing with Raya is that you may not get that much saves, so you are relying on him to get a clean sheet, and if you don't have the clean sheet, then you end up with just a 2-pointer. So if you have the money, I'd say go for it.
Oh, right. I like you lah. All right, Gordon or Palmer, both are cheap enabler into coming day. What do you think? For me, I think we already see about the feature congestion. Maybe Gordon minutes being played. Chelsea do not have any commitment. Palmer could be a safer option.
Yeah, Palmer. Unfortunately, I'm not just talking sour grapes because I sold the Gordon. I do think Palmer is a better option moving forward.
Yeah, and for you, if you're thinking about changing, Eze to Palmer could be someone that you are looking at.
Unless I want to bit my sour grapes and bring back Gordon.
Yeah. Ambil balik. Okay. Salah or Haaland, we did mention about this. I think you can go wrong with those two players for sure. Son, keep or sell, if you have him.
Honestly, I would sell him.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's just a matter of waiting the right moment. If let's say Son is a big player scoring in a big occasion, right? So we shall see against City.
True. Yeah.
Martinelli or Trossard? I'm not too sure about Arsenal assets.
I would say neither. It's just but if you corner me, I'd say Martinelli.
Okay. Mbomo only you can do this, captaining Mbomo.
it's definitely under my consideration. Not gonna deny it. Yeah, but because the only thing going against it is that I'm not sure about the form because Mbuemo blanked last week, even
Okay.
though
Fair.
to be fair, it was against Arsenal, and Mbuemo scores a lot of second half goals as well. So, I'm not sure I have the capacity to wait that long and watch a match and hoping that he'll score. But it is viable. Yeah.
Okay. Who to play? Cash away to Bournemouth or Lascelles versus Manchester? Tricky one.
Matchup alone would be cash.
Okay, fair. But I still think at home Lascelles is it's a big cash. Since I'm picking him in my wildcard team, in cash,
Yeah.
the maximum point he produced to me, I don't know about you, it's only 5 points. The best score he has made for me. That's all.
Okay. So I don't have
All
to
right.
sell.
Man. Okay, actually he's in our league, man. He's 1, 2, 3 go. He's actually number third in our league. So well done. For the past several game weeks have been good run for you. Okay, good. And thank you for advice. And his question for this week, man. Who the best replacement for Bowen? He has 0.2 million in the bank. Bowen so-called around 7.5 million, 7.7 million. So what is our advice?
So he's what's his number in the league at the moment? He's the third in the league at the moment.
Yes, 1, 2, 3 go. His team under Nama.
Okay, so I'm looking at his team now. He has Martinelli, he has Gordon. So well done him, and he has Son as well, Salah and Bowen in his lineup. In his midfield five, he has
Yeah,
Salah,
I think
Martinelli.
someone maybe one of the Mitchell or Cash coming in for Bowen.
Yeah, so you have options. You have Palmer. You have.
Yeah.
You
But
have
I can only name one guy for sure.
Mbeumo.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's the obvious one.
So it's just a form thing. Obviously, he played Liverpool and Arsenal in the last two, so he blanked the two. But I look back at the last time he scored two consecutively. The next match he scored double digits. So, okay, fine. Mbeumo it is.
I think Mbomo is the obvious one. But other than that, if you want to go different, like as we mentioned, Palmer, or we won't advise Saka, right? Okay.
So he doesn't have money to go up to Saka.
Yeah, I think no. The 7 million guy, other than that, I think Momo should be number one. Okay, man, that's all for this week. We already almost 1.5 hour streaming. So it's been a good one. So release all our
Well, we had to make up for it after disappearing last week. Sorry, guys, again, guys, but yeah.
Right, man, your last word.
Injury news very important as we hit this congestion, and try to interpret. Obviously, people like Arteta and Howie are gonna lie when it comes to the press conferences. So just keep that in mind. We do not trust them, but again, try to get players who are certain starters because you will need them, even all the way to the bench as well, if possible.
Yep, understand. Sometimes you need to think about that. I think I like this period, man, because this really tests your skill. Because back-to-back deadline, you need to keep up with all the team news. So you need to be resilient at this juncture, and you might need some friends to confirm about your transfer and share your thoughts, because those are making sure you get the right transfer to get in. And I think in the end, follow your guys. If you feel this is the best player, Azmin has that kind of guys. Gordon, captaining, someone different.
But on hindsight, Hafiz, sorry, I know. I wonder that if we had done our Saturday morning stream, I would not have gone for Eze. I don't know because you would have, because offline you mentioned that you was quite surprised that I sold Eze, talking about sold Gordon. You're saying that Gordon is currently on the up. So yeah, it's definitely something we should think about.
All right. We hope to see you again in our deadline stream on Saturday. I hope to see you again. Take care. Thank you for joining and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.